the thing about all of our senses, sound, light, touch, smell, all of these things are, together they create this illusion that we're engaged in this reality. But light is the easiest one to where you can dispel that illusion. You can say, you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing. I'm looking at a screen right now and I'm seeing you.
Yeah.
In all your glory. It's fantastic. And there in your studio, it's great. So I'm seeing you, but I'm not seeing you. I mean, and this is completely artificial, of course, because I'm watching you in a link that goes across the Atlantic. There's some cable somewhere that's ferrying us back and forth, or some satellite or something. But if you were in the same room as me, right, I'm not seeing you. I'm seeing the light that shines off you.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing you. I'm seeing the light. Now, when you say that, you say, well, that's just the photon hitting your eyeballs. Yeah, but most of the detail that I'm seeing is hitting something like 6 or 7 or 8 or something of these very special cells in your eye that give you all of your definition. And the rest of it is a kind of, you don't recognize it, but it's a kind of a blur. But what's happening in your eye is quantum resolution is happening. The photons that are hitting your eye are being resolved from their potential to their actuality. So what I'm seeing is the quantum collapse of all of those millions and millions, billions of photons that are streaming into my eye, all collapsing into an image of you. And the eye, not a lot of people know this, but the eye is not a separate organ from the brain. The eye is part of your brain. Or at least it was considered to be so when I read about it like 30 years ago. Maybe people think differently now. But what's called the optic nerve is really just an extended part of your brain. So what's happening is the brain is resolving those quantum events in your eye. So what are you seeing? Only frequency, only vibration, only quantum collapse. There is no reality there to see other than the light that comes to you. So you say, well, okay, yes, but if Chris is in the room, I can reach out and touch him. I can grab his shoulder and I know it's him then. Yeah, okay, so how do you know you're touching Chris? Because I can feel him. No, what you're feeling is what your nerve endings send to your brain. So you think that's touch, but that's just the same thing. That's just more photons going to a different part of your brain. Okay, so maybe Chris hasn't had a bath for a day or two. I can smell Chris. I've got actual molecules of Chris in my nose. Same thing. Those molecules are causing the olfactory sense to trigger a response in your brain. None of our senses are real. They're all approximating, and if you look at each of them individually, you can quite easily dispel any mythology about them representing reality. You're creating that reality from your senses, but when you take them all together, you believe you're in this reality. And music is a wonderful reality to exist in. Obviously, it's just simply an auditory illusion, isn't it? But it is an illusion nevertheless, an illusion based on mathematics. And the great thing about it is that although it's based on mathematics, it's the way those mathematics vary from what you expect that makes it exciting and different and real but it's, as you said, it is all in a way about frequencies. And it's your quantum mind. The mind is quantum. There's no doubt about that in my quantum mind. There's no doubt that the mind is quantum. It has to be. It's non-computational. Richard Penrose has proved that, if not by experiment, then at least to my satisfaction by his explanation of computation and what computation is. And it's why the AI can never be us, because it's only computation, even though it's very clever. This idea that there's going to be, the singularities coming any day now, we're so far away from that, because we don't understand. There is no consensus about the quantum nature of the mind. But when we think about music, how can music work other than appealing to the vibrational frequencies of our brain? It has we know a minor chord from a major chord, even if we don't know anything about music. If you play someone a major chord and play a minor chord, 99 people out of 100 can hear that difference. There are some few unfortunate individuals who hear no difference in music. It just all sounds like noise to them. But yeah, so you're definitely right. There's definitely an element of that, and that's where I choose to live in music. I choose to live there. I don't like these theories, these scales, those kind of things. I love microtonal music because it takes all of those, it takes all of the ideas of scale, crumples them up and puts them in the bin. Because if you can, and the numbers of descriptions of microtonal scales, if you go beyond the 12 notes into microtonal scales, your number of scales increases exponentially into infinity almost.
Yeah.
Because by the time you take all of the combinations of all of the microtonal scales that could possibly ever happen, you can't encompass it. So my attitude many years ago was, why bother? Why bother trying to encompass all of that? Just follow whatever happens and just make that your thing, So, but it's all based on these weird esoteric mathematical relationships that cause your brain to go pop 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 with all these different. Well, at least it does for me. I know for a lot of people it doesn't, but when I hear microtonal music, it really kind of it just gives the lie to the idea that you could ever define it.
Yeah, I get that for sure. And the thing about light too, that I remember when I first started wrapping my head around the way light and color works in our perception, was I was growing some marijuana, and I bought a grow light online that was designed for growing marijuana, and I had the plants under. I turned it on, and the plants looked black, like dark black. And I was like, "What the hell?" Like I understand. I turned the lights off. The plants are green. Lights are on. Plants are black. And so I wanted to read about it. I'm like, I had to go find out why do the plants look black under the grow lights? And someone explained to me, like, well, because that's the exact spectrum for that plant. That plant is absorbing all the light that's being given to it. It's not reflecting any of it. So the sun is giving you full spectrum. So the green light is not important to the plant. The plant doesn't want green light. The plant rejects the green light. That's why the plant looks green. The plant's not actually green. The plant's rejecting green light.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, right? It's amazing. Again,
yeah, so it's like your shirt is not a blue shirt. It's everything but blue, right?
Yeah.
I guess if you look at it that way.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yes. Yeah. It's freaky when you think about it. I mean, if you can't really live by it. I mean, you go crazy if you try to live by that.
You will, yeah.
Imagine if you went around. Some scientist somewhere did this. They did a thought experiment, and they thought, well, what would it be like if you were a human being and you could see the whole electromagnetic spectrum, and you could hear all of the available sound, and you could, see and sense everything that was, you could smell one molecule from, that hit your nose. And they concluded that you'd be dead within half an hour, because, you would be reacting to stuff that was meaningless and not reacting to stuff that was dangerous, because you wouldn't be able to tell, And one of the ideas that I came across recently was, when people have near-death experiences, one of the things that they do report is that they have 360-degree vision. They can see they in inverted commas see all around them, and they see colours that they have never sensed before. And the idea that this guy had was, well, when you get rid of the filter of your body, of course you can perceive everything, And I thought that was a very interesting idea, that your body is designed to filter out most of the stuff that can't possibly be of any interest to you. Like,
yeah,
ultraviolet light. Yes, it's ultraviolet light that causes sunburn, isn't it? I think so, yes. Yeah, so you don't see ultraviolet light.
No, not what we don't, no.
So you would think that if it's harmful to you that you would see it, but you don't. But there's a lot going on that you do. Most of what's going on you don't see. You don't experience.